Welcome back. Now, from the age of 7, Zinah knew that music is what she's called for. Her single, Winner, has topped charts, and her other singles such as Good and Feeling Fine have also been doing well. Now, in 2022, she released her first EP titled Rose Garden. The singer-songwriter now returns with a debut album titled Tulipa, and she joins us now this morning to share more. Zinah, good to see you. Welcome back. How are you?
It's so good to see you now in person.
Right. Lovely to see you. Not too bad at all.
Good,
I'm just happy that I'm basking in the glory of your presence.
Yeah. You're being very nice. You're being very, very nice.
All right, you started singing from the age of 7. Just take us through your musical journey from back then.
Sure. I think, because we were talking about it just now, I started singing in front of the TV and just performing in front of the TV. That's what I did, you know. And then I think that's when I made my choice. And through that experience, I felt like, okay, cool, this seems like the right thing to do. It just felt easy. It felt fun. It felt real. It felt like me.
Right.
So the journey really started taking off in 2015 when I joined a performing arts school called Stageworks, and I studied musical theatre and performing arts, and I really was like honing in on my skill. I was like, this is what I'm going to do, whether mom and dad are there or not for it or whatever. But eventually they jumped on, and the family's been really supportive. But I've been very adamant that this is my career, and so it feels great to be sitting here next to you on TV. Yeah.
Let's talk about Rose Garden that you released last year. I think sometime last year I spoke to you about it.
Yes,
how did that go?
I think, well, looking at the greater scheme of things now and looking back, I think it went really, really well for my first EP. But I won't lie, it did. I think because I expected so much more from the EP than what actually happened, it kind of put me in a very weird mental space. And so that's what then triggered, you know, just a couple of months of just having a social media hiatus and just taking time for myself. Well, not necessarily because I wanted to, but because I felt like I needed to. And it's difficult because when you're in an industry like this, there's always highs and lows. And I think this low was my lowest because I felt like, okay, this was the beginning. And now things are going to start happening and everything is going to come together and I won't have to work full time and I'm going to be a singer all the time. And then it just didn't happen. And I just lost all sense of my spirit and wanting to do that,
And do you think taking that social media hiatus, yielded any positive results?
It really did, because I focused a lot on my journey as a Christian as well, and just, focused time on God, and was just like, this is, at this point in time, that's where my focus is right now. And then that brought in, like, obviously Tulipa, because I was able to write again from a place of, healing and having learned about my stuff a lot better.
So is your, social media health, or rather mental health journey documented in this album? Is it reflected?
It is, because in the beginning of the album, the introduction talks about how I've been praying for a day like this, but now it's just got me so sad and down, you know. And I talk about the journey of waiting and feeling like, oh my gosh, it's too much, I can't do this. There's so much that I need to be patient for, but there's also so much I need to work hard in order to get to. So so the album does speak about that, but it speaks about all other journeys as well. But it really is a beautiful experience, really, when you come to the end of that.
But generally, what's the album about? I mean, what is it that you sing about in it?
I sing about, obviously, my journey as a musician. I sing about love, a lot about love. I think a lot about how I see the world and how I would like the world to see me as well. And essentially the album is more like my heart, like whatever was on my mind, I just sang and wrote down. And I think there's so much, truth in being able to write your own music, because then people get to know you, maybe not through word, but through song. And that's been my main focus, because I'm not really good at speaking about my feelings, but I can write about them. Right.
So have you seen any growth in terms of, how you've grown from your previous offering to the latest one?
Completely, because I did a lot of vocal training in the break that I had. I never stopped dancing and preparing for this moment. So in that break, I spent a lot of time with myself. So vocal training, dancing, making sure that I was fit and ready for when I need to get on stage again, because the first time I performed was in July after a year. So it was huge. It was huge, but I think all that preparation and that break was so needed.
I really think you needed it.
I think so too. I think so too.
Just working on yourself.
But also for the beginning, so that when I get to that point where it's like, oh my gosh, it's Zinah everywhere, then I can also be sane and centered. I think that's the most important thing for me, and just remain human, that's all I am at the end of the day.
So where to from here? I mean, what are your other big plans? What do you have up your sleeve?
Well, at this point in time, the album is out, so I'm very happy about that. I'm very excited for more performances. And we'll see. I can't share too much right now, but we'll see.
Let's talk about some of the projects that really, put you out there, that made Zinah who Zinah is today?
Yeah. So at this point, the song I'll be performing later, called Down, I wrote in Amsterdam. I got an opportunity to go to Amsterdam last year. Yeah, the Sanford Development Fund sent us on tour, so I was writing with so many artists there. And that's where this album stemmed from as well. And being able to work with different artists in another country. So my first feature was an international feature, which is absolutely amazing. And I think getting to this point and having these different projects, all of them say something and all of them mean something. But I think with this album specifically, me getting to write it means so much more to me than being, given a song and saying, okay, cool, I think your voice would sound great on this and you do well. I don't mind doing that, but I think there's more heart in when you write something.
Got you.
So.
And then let's talk about your songwriting process. I mean, what really goes through your mind? Do you write a song triggered by a thought that just passed your mind, or you just write because you have to write?
No, it happens very randomly. Sometimes I'm driving, so then I'll have to quickly take out my phone and record the melody. Sometimes it's very under pressure, so then I kind of think of the melody and the words at that point in time.
So cool.
Or sometimes it's just I'm feeling really sad and these are the emotions that I'm feeling, and then it just becomes a melody and then it's a song, and then that's literally what happens. Or sometimes there's a song that's been already written, but then I don't like how I've written it, so then I write a new one, but then the label likes the way I've written the old one, so it becomes a new, completely different song. So yeah, it works in different ways. It's almost like maths.
Yeah, and speaking of that, and speaking of that, I mean, how do you come to that decision? Do you go with what you want or what the label wants?
I think it's a conversation, and I think now more than ever, because what I needed in the beginning was advice, because I'm still a new artist, I'm still figuring it out, trying to see what works and who am I, and I think at this point in time we've come to a general consensus and an agreement that, okay, cool, this is who Zinah is now. And the evolution is so important, because in the past, I would have told you, yeah, I'm just a pop artist, that's it, that's all I sing. But now it's different. I'm influenced by my country, I'm influenced by my experiences, so those change over time. So now I'm influenced by, my international experience, I'm influenced by everything that I went through over the last year, and so that makes me a completely different artist to who I was last year. Because last year I'm singing about different things, and now it's a completely different version of myself, and a different type of sound as well. So I don't want to box myself in anymore, and I think the label's been really helpful in making me, work hard to be an artist that's authentic, but that's also able to dabble in different things, but authentically in myself.
Okay. How do you book you?
Oh, send me an email. Good question. Send me an email. My email's on my social media. And then...
What are your handles?
At @ZinahRose_ on Instagram and on TikTok. And Facebook as well.
Zinah, lovely chatting to you. All the best.
Thank you so much.
You're doing very well.
Appreciate it.
You're doing very, very well. Well, emerging artist Zinah has released her album Tulipa and is ready for the South African music scene. To know exactly who she is, make sure that you tune into Morning Live to get more hits from her.